but who are your, not necessarily the greatest, but who are your three favorite? And let's go back. I don't want you to include anyone who's still competing, but who are your three favorite strongmen of all time? You can go back as far as you like to the beginning of strongman. If you had to pick three favorites you just enjoyed watching, to take your association of the sport out of it, just as a fan, who are your top three guys that you just enjoyed?
So we got to talk in the modern era then, obviously,
Okay.
because I'm not that old. And Big
Well,
Louis.
we're talking world's strongest man.
World's strongest man. Who did I don't know. There's so many magnificent characters. I don't know why it attracts so. Maybe they're not magnificent characters. Maybe I'm just
They are. There's
slightly
some.
perverse, and I like all these ludicrous alpha male figures. The banter and the macho-ness and the.
I think
It's
we've
like
had some
people
awesome
become
characters.
so macho and so alpha that they actually almost go the other way when they get as a huge group of you. You're actually so some of the most silly, almost childlike. It's still great fun, isn't it? Who's the greatest characters? Goodness, I mean, Who didn't like John Paul? He was, as Douglas Edmonds. Oh, big doogie. As Douglas Edmonds described him, peerless. He was, a man with no peer. He was beyond all others in terms of entertainment value. We are all here because of him.
Yeah.
His extraordinary, but he was built from the foundation of Bill Kazmaier. And bless him, Barry Frank is now gone as well in the last year or so. The man who created people say he created it. He created it. He went, world's strongest man. I'd like to do this as a show. He was the guy. Yeah. And Barry thought it was supposedly it was a better idea not to have Kaz there a fourth year in a row. Not even supposedly. It's quite true. I've seen the two discussing it as some older gentlemen. So and Kaz is still very bitter about it.
Is there truth behind that then? I always heard rumors.
Yeah.
But
Barry was absolutely. Barry was he was an immense character, and he people have a vision, and their vision is how if you like, do you know what we need right now in the world? Do you know what Britain needs right now? And this is going to sound like a total lunatic talking. We need a dictator. You need one man in charge. UFC. Why is it so good Dana's in charge?
Sure.
Look over at Vince McMahon. You need one man in charge to really get shit done.
Yeah.
Because that group don't like it. So what? There's one man's vision can take you a hell of a long way.
Sure.
And if especially without being picked off by the media or this or that. And that Barry had a vision, and he made it great, highly entertaining. But you can't just carry the whole thing yourself, because Barry didn't like Hercules Hold. He thought it wasn't, of course, since have the data of the modern era would prove that Hercules Hold is a winner. But yeah, we wouldn't be here without Barry, and we wouldn't be here without Kazmundo, Big Kazalicious. And he was, just so great, Kaz, as a character. There's no one like the Kaz. But off of the back of that, John Paul was just, it's as if he'd gone to acting school and knew how to play a ludicrous, magnificent Viking hero. It was all his silly lines. I mean, it reminded you a bit of, Ali always had, lines tucked up his sleeve, and it was, So, John Paul is really, I would probably match Douglas's sentiment there. He's probably peerless. There's been some bad imitations since then of people trying to be a bit like that. So people who've really stood out as their own character, obviously, I've got to go modern era. Hap, Thor, and Ed were just a couple of and they still are just a couple of absolutely insane characters.
Yeah.
Do
you reckon that's the best?
Else?
Do you reckon that's the best rivalry since the Kaz and John Paul?
No, because I mean, rivalry. It's got to be the greatest rivalry of all time. It's got to be Zydrunas and Bryan. easy. I mean, I'm talking like
same,
from a purist
from a
point
purist
of view,
point of
the
view.
sport, Brian and Z are in a way head and shoulders above the rest for their sheer quality, consistency for many, many years. And bloody hell, Brian's, even Z's still around. He's still kicking around, winning things. How's he doing it? Bless him,
Those two.
Can I just do a Z? What Z's referee? There's something under the serious look. No, don't do those kind of signals. He did that the first week, and then he subjected it. It looked very, very wrong, and I'm sure you realise that. But of course, that is the position you hold as a referee. Down.
Yes. Yeah. I love how seriously he takes the job as well.
He takes it very seriously. He's a serious dude, man. He's people think he's like doing the whole kind of monosyllabic kind of gag. He just played a little bit.
He's actually a funny guy when you get to know him off screen. He's got a dry sense of humor.
But I've never met a dumb world-class strongman.
No,
there's such a thing. It's impossible because you're not a product of some East German machine who's I had no idea I was taking all the food and whatever. You guys, you are self-built men from physical to mental, and there's no sports psychologists, except probably now there are. The very best will have turned to everybody in every angle to make sure they can win something.
Oh, now the professionalism is crazy, but going back to like the characters and stuff, I used to love watching Raymond's Bergmanis, and that guy would turn up with a little belt and a little bag, and Raymond's was awesome to watch. Just he's funny, tough, but
the toughest man of all time.
Oh,
and Ray was tough. I remember he turned up with his weightlifting shoes. And I remember he said he could only bench like 150 or 160 first time we got together. And we had some right good riot, and we were good buddies. I looked after him at the Highland Games, and he did really well. He made the final of WSM, and then obviously went on and got on the podium. And he was a great character. But I remember his weightlifting shoes slipping off, and he carried on pulling the truck with no shoes on. and there was just a trail of blood.
Can't imagine how painful his feet would have been after that.
And then he just carried on with all the events, just as hard as they come.
But he was literally just a little bag, little belt. That was it. He didn't need all the fancier kit that all the guys have, and the physios. And
he's a brilliant mind, Ray. Ray was I never quite understood his English entirely. He's a bit like Clive. Those two guys they can make you laugh just telling some ridiculous story. But in the end, someone will go, "What was that all about?" I have no idea. He's the funniest man I've ever met. He's and Ray was like that as well. Very much.
Do you think that's what we need? Is more characters then? Right, we've got great athletes.
Manufacture these things. If I could, I would. If I could. If I can, make them in a factory, right? Here we go. Give me the, I need the Hollywood, Beach Boy hair, glinting teeth hero, and can we have 2 more of the hard Eastern European, whatever. Veristchuk. That takes me back to Veristchuk. You must find the footage when he's in Super Series 2003, I think, and Stock. I can't remember. We were somewhere 2005, and he goes to flip a tire, and he dislocates his finger. I feel like I've bored you with this one before.
No, I know this story. Yeah,
his finger is just sitting sideways, and I can't remember if he cut it into the show or not. But he just kind of went.
I think it was in Sweden, wasn't it?
And then just snapped it back into place, and then carried on. Oh man, any guy who's got multiple bullet wounds, from being sprayed with a machine gun and went on to win World's Strongest Man. He is,
he's one of the guys when I was first getting into training myself. I used to love watching him and just his intensity. Him and Kazma are probably the 2 most intense guys I've ever seen in competition. Yeah. They just had that crazy looking.
Kaz is Kaz. Everything was life and death with Kaz. He's so mellow compared to where he once was. We're getting all mellow with age.
Right? That happens.
It does happen. Thank God it does, really. But yeah, but he still, I don't think Kaz would take offense to me saying he's still not exactly a perfectly well-rounded human being. He's still bonkers, Kaz. In all the best
That's
ways.
what made him so great as well.
Yeah, you know,
Would
one
he
of
have
my
won?
favorite ones. Remember when he's asked him, "Do you think you're the strongest man in the world?" You know, whatever. And he said, "I know," was like, "I think I'm the strongest man ever."
That's the attitude you need to be that great. It's
You think you could have said a line like that?
no.
No.
I did try the I've got, these are the strongest legs, or I think it was these are the strongest legs, baby. It was and that was, when I was younger, I had that belief. I did. There was a time that I had that belief that I could be the greatest strongman on the planet. While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.